Yeah, well, you'd be getting a paycheck though. You'd be getting a paycheck as a
Paycheck?
government employee.
Paycheck.
Yeah.
Where's
You get a paycheck. They pay real well. All right, one more. Here we go. And begin.
Hey Mover, hey Gonky. Just wanted to say thank you guys for the content that you give every week. You've helped inspire me to want to become an aviator in the military. I want to go down the Marine Corps route, first because of my family connections with the Marine Corps. My dad was an infantry officer in the Marine Corps, and my grandfather was also an infantry officer in the Marine Corps. He served in Vietnam as well. And also because the Marine Corps just feels right for me. I wanted to know your opinion on the Marine Corps completely leaving behind the F-18 and going for the F-35. I know the Marine Corps had to replace the Harriers with another VTOL-capable aircraft, that aircraft being the F-35B. But do you think it would have been better for the Marine Corps to go with a different option with the F-18 Block 3 instead of the F-35B and C variants? So I just wanted to know your opinion on that, and thank you for the content. Have a nice day.
Okay, first I'm going to say this dude already sounds like a Marine. Like, we need the knife hands in the middle of that because he's already got, he either sounds like a Marine or a weapon school guy.
Childhood was boot camp.
The dude has got it. And so I wholeheartedly support this endeavor. Rick, what do you think about that?
I don't know. It depends on what the mission is. And the Marines are a different outfit. I mean, I respect them greatly. And if they feel that the close air support from the assault carriers is the best way to meet the mission, more power to them. I'm just concerned that the airplane could have been better if it was strictly dedicated. And I'll tell you, in my personal opinion, the only reason we have an F-35 in the first place is that the Marines needed a replacement for the AV-8B. And if it didn't happen, we'd still be flying F-15s, and we'd still be flying F-22s, and we'd still be flying F-18s because they're good enough today. And then if you need the new stealth type stuff and everything else, you can do it.
Yeah.
But then I really believe that the Marines are a tremendous force on the Hill. There's no question whatsoever. And I'll give you a little apocryphal story. I was meeting with the ranking member of the Senate, the House Armed Services Committee one day. And I asked him, who has the highest credibility when they come to the Hill for the budget? And the guy was named, I think, I forget his name anyway. And he said, that's an unfair question, son. And I said, Mr. Congressman, nobody told me I couldn't ask an unfair question. He said, well, I'll tell you. The Army came up here one time and they said they wanted to buy some of these Humvee things. And you know what a Humvee is, son? He says, yes, sir, I do. It's a military truck, basically. So that's right. The Secretary of the Army says, we want to give this to a small business. And son, do you know any small business automobile companies? No, I don't. I said, I didn't either. Does that tell you anything, son? I said, yes, sir. It sure does. But I tell a story. It says Marines come down with their budget and they say, I want so many airplanes. I want a bunch of rifles, tanks, howitzers, and et cetera, et cetera. And Congress says, yes, you got it. And he comes down, says, I want a bunch of boats, submarines, airplanes, a bunch of other stuff. You sure about that? Well, maybe we can do a few less of those and a couple of less of those, but that's what, okay, you can have it. Air Force comes down and says, we want a bunch of airplanes and some other sports stuff, and satellites, a couple of rockets, and a bunch of other that stuff. So you sure about that? I said, well, we'll be back in 6 months with a study. And then the Army comes up and says, well, a bunch of tanks and howitzers and jeeps and helmets and all kinds of good stuff. They said, you sure about that? I don't know. What do you give us? I'm sure I'm offending any service I just talked about, but I apologize.
Yeah, for legal reasons, this is still a joke. I saw.
It's funny because it's true.
but I saw on the Twitter yesterday or the day before a picture from Divids of a F-35B at Camp Pendleton, like on a road, and they were practicing forward arming and refueling of this thing on a road. Which, when you look at the current conflicts, right?
Yeah.
What's the next war? Look at the Ukraine situation. That's exactly what, because the airfields are getting missiled out, bombed out, whatever. And so whereas I used to scoff it and go, well, we don't need that. And then you're like, well, wait a minute. When they're talking about putting MiG-29s, taking off on roads out of Poland or wherever, that's actually valid. I mean, it's valid. If the Marines can storm the beach and hold this little bit of land, we've got a forward arming and refueling point now, and 5th-gen technology on top of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not in the business of tactics and strategy kind of stuff. I'm just one of the guys that says, this is what you guys want and this is what you need. I'll tell you what you can have, and then we'll go get it for you. And I used to get these clowns from PA&E, Program Analysis and Evaluation. They were kind of the whiz kids of the Pentagon. And they come down and says, well, why do you need this F-22? I said, I don't need it. You go talk to them guys down at Langley. They're the guys that need it. And when he said, well, why do you have this requirement? I said, I do not have this requirement. You go talk to this. I'll give you your phone number down there at Langley Air Force Base. And he said, well, yeah, but you're in charge of this program. And I said, no, I'm not in charge of this program. That guy over there is in charge of the program. But what we do is develop what they want. And if you've got a problem with what they want, that's the guys you got to talk to. And we had this one group that said, what we need is blitz fighters, where you buy a bunch of cheap airplanes and overwhelm them. I said, well, that's a good theory. Why don't you go down and talk to those guys down at Langley, and they'll let you know what they think. It's nice to be able to have that defense.
Yeah, no, it's the other guy. Go talk to him.